All right, Ready's up and race will begin shortly. Final race of the day. Macobra and Stewie have each taken one of them. So we got Mario in the first level, and we are starting out in 3-2. Mario is the super character in this one. So if they have the opportunity to pick up an enemy, they'll want to for an increase in run speed. So Macobra ditches the POW block. It would have been a little faster to hang on to it, but no big deal. Yeah, so Rohbert actually gained a decent chunk of time there. Nico is onto the Birdo area, schmoving right along. This is an awkward fight when you have a huge jump. Yeah, I was going to say I'd be tempted to get a block. Oh, and of course Nico gets fire. Oh, and the death. Yeah, it's Super Mario it's a blessing and a curse. Rohbert also taking a death there. It's just so awkward. Oh, Stewie takes damage from a Bezo there. Not a big deal. Should have plenty of time to make it over, yeah. Yeah, with the improved carpet behavior, you can clear a lot of these gaps much easier without having to worry about setting up the little swapperoo. Which Macobra does set up the swapperoo and zooms through. Gonna take a Ninja into the fight, get a free hit. Alright, only gets a single hit, so ends up not saving time when you collide it with an egg like that. Bear doing the swap. Oh boy! Oh, and the death. Alright, so a little bit of a rough start by Rohbert, taking a couple deaths so far. Alright, Stewie into 5-3 as well as Macobra. Nico not far behind. Safety strats here. See Bagler block from Stewie here. Yep. Ooh, some scary enemy placements there. Stewie gets through. Cobra not grabbing the Bagler block. Taking a sniff it. He's through. The one benefit of grabbing an enemy over the block is you can take the enemy right to the door with you. The way the tree works is that you can't throw a block when you're in front of it. A little bit of a fumble there from Macobra. Open the door a bit to Stewie taking the lead, but then Stewie takes some damage. Both of them grab a block there. That's a pretty smart play in Randomizer, in my humble opinion. Alright, so Macobra with a narrow lead over Stewie. Nico not too far behind. Rohbert in the same level, a little bit earlier though. Cobra also again opting for the fast carpet here. Ooh, and slips off though. Gets a little ahead of himself. Plummets into the abyss. Although really doesn't lose nearly as much time as you would think by doing the fast carpet twice. Looks like we're being blessed by 2 Mega Man 3 songs in a row. Very nice heart grab. With that fumble though, Stewie is now in the lead. Oh, and Nico deciding to give a little smooch to the Pidgeot. That did cost a life, but in my opinion, worth it. Alright, nice RNG for Macobra there, getting a good kill on Krabio. Stewie as the patented goth princess. There are multiple carpets there. I'm not quite sure what that was about. Not sure. Is that a feature of the randomizer, or was that some type of little glitch? No extra carpet for Macobra here. Alright, Stewie goes secret route here over to the left. It is a little slower, but it's quite a bit safer. The one risk would be that if you take a death to Birdo, it costs quite a bit more time. And with random pattern Birdos, this can be a little scary, but it looks like Stewie's not having any issues. It is a 5-hit Birdo, though, so a little scary, but he's through. I did not see if Macobra went long route or not, but a really clean kill there. Gained some time on Stewie there. Bear on Crabio. Gets the kill. Very nicely done. Stewie deftly ducking under a Cobrat shot. Both opting to not grab enemies here. Okay, Macobra does grab one. Stewie accidentally goes down a pipe there. There's a temptation here to do a lot of duck jumping, both to save lag, but also to make your hitbox a little smaller. But that can be very scary here. Macobra did take a death on this screen. Because when you're ducking, it sometimes buffers a down input when you land. So if you land in the center of one of these vases, you'll go down. It's not every time, but it's sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So not the best place for meme ducks, but sometimes you need a tactical duck there. Macobra having a rough time here. Digging in subspace is a little unsettling. You know, when you can't see the walls, it kind of throws off your typical patterns a little bit. I know there are a lot of parts where I'm digging where I know, okay, I want to be 2 tiles away from the wall here, or, you know, once I get to a certain point, I need to start zigzagging to the right. But you can't quite do that when you can't see where the walls are. Oh, Stewie having a little bit of a rough go with Birdo, but does survive. Oh, it looks like Nico took a death, but did go the shorter, riskier way, so it's not as big of a deal. Robert also taking a death on that Birdo. Which way did Robert go? And see, Robert took the quote-unquote shortcut and is now going to have to wait for the bomb wall again. So a little risk-reward. You know, better chance of getting to Birdo with full health when you go that way, but if you do take a death, it's a more costly death. A little Bob-omb Battlefield music here. Robert has recently started running Mario 64. So if that's your cup of tea, make sure to check that out. Alright, Stewie has a nice Fry Guy kill there, it looks like. I just caught the tail end of it, but it looked like it was clean. Alright, Macobra getting to Fry Guy here pretty soon. 2 of them again in the lead. Yeah, Macobra has like a set strat it looks like he goes for in Randomizer, and it's been working pretty well for him. I like that Fry Guy setup. Seems robust to different physics and different HP levels for Fry Guy. It's nice. All right, so Stewie about halfway through 6-1. Macobra just entered 6-1. Robert in that crazy dark digging area. Nico also just getting there. Macobra with some smooth moves to avoid damage. Stewie's going to have to be careful here. Down to 1 HP. All right, so he ditches the key. I think he'll be able to make it to the door before Phantom comes back. Yep. Macobra's scaring me here a little bit. But good recovery on the dig. Gets the key on his way. Stewie does take a death, though. So that lead is going to narrow quite a bit if Macobra can stay alive for the Birdo fight. Stewie playing it safe here. Alright, recognizing that pattern, finds a good time to go for it. Let's see if Macobra can get through. Alright, Macobra also sees this as kind of a goofy pattern, plays it nice and safe here. Alright, well done. Alright, into 2-1 with Goth Princess for Stewie. I believe random Princess color for Macobra. Nico and Robert basically neck and neck, a little bit of a lead for Nico here. See how they fare on Fry Guy. Ooh, clever little duck jump from Cobra to sneak through some of those enemies. It's really well done there. Bob-ombs are a little bit of an annoyance in the sand, but Cobra wisely gives it plenty of room. Stewie looks like he's going to go for star kill here. Oh no, okay. Just wanted the star for safety. It would be very tough to get a star kill with so much going on and not having your typical visual cues and whatnot. Cobra wants that star, but it's not wanting to be picked up. Alright, Stewie is through. Oh, Cobra getting clipped there by a fireball. So lead opening up for Stewie here. So into 6-3, Stewie knows that with the super character, you don't need a potion at all. You can just charge up a super jump and clear it the whole way over. Another B jump from Stewie and onto Birdo. And this is a fire-only Birdo. I don't love that block placement. Yeah, that's kind of inevitable when you get when you let a block settle in the middle of that platform there. It's so difficult to re-grab it without taking damage. And a single hit Triclide, that's a rarity in Randomizer. It is random between 1 and 5 HP, but it feels like it's almost always 4 or 5 on that Triclide. So, Stewie taking bird strats. Interesting that he went over to the right to that far to spawn that top bird. I think Cobra will gain a little bit of time. Oh, or just... Okay, intentional game over. I don't hate it. Would have preferred a kill code death on the first screen. But no big deal. But yeah, you can just jump over a little bit like that to spawn that first, or that higher bird going to the left. You technically don't even need that higher bird. You can just ride the lower bird and get through. But it ends up being quite a bit more difficult and chaotic. Alright, Cobra hopping a ride on the Bezo here. Stewie with a little turn back onto the lower platform, make it easier to get up onto that upper platform. A pretty solid kill there from Stewie. That fight is pretty satisfying as Toad. And Cobra brought the Bezo with him. I think it ended up costing him time though, because that was a pretty awkward fight, and now he has to climb up the long way to get to the Hawk door. Right, Stewie into 4-2 here. This level gave Cobra a decent bit of trouble in race number 1. Let's see if he has an easier time with Vanilla Princess than Luigi with Toad Physics. Right, Nico and Robert are they still pretty much tied? I'm not sure where they are. I think they are within 15-20 seconds of each other. Oh, no. Okay, never mind. I completely lied. I have no idea where they are. I can't remember what the level order is. I do not have the short-term memory necessary to be a good commentator in a 4-way randomizer race, as it turns out. Nico also with a slick little jump there in between the two enemies. Does end up running right into the Cobra, but Nico and Cobra had really good dodges there. And Cobra and Stewie are basically synced at this point. I missed something. Cobra able to catch up. I think Stewie may have taken a death. But a near perfect sync. This is glorious. Yeah, less than a second lead for Stewie over Cobra if their streams are properly synced. Which always is a big question mark. Like Nico's going for the star kill here. Oh, not going to get it with that little clip into the ledge. Oh, and just run straight into an egg. That's not ideal when you are not invincible. Oh, single hit Birdo. Oh, Cobra takes another death. Rough go of it. Again, that the superpowers, it, like, on paper seems like it should be so OP, but in practice, it ends up being so difficult to control. Stewie opting for the Bagler door. This is wise. I think we'll probably see the same from Makobra if he gets there on this life. At 2 HP, I think Makobra opts not to go for the Bagler door. At 1 HP, I think he will. Yep, going for the Bagler door. Smart checkpoint. It does give Stewie a bit of a lead again. Are these random speed sparks? I don't even remember. I don't believe these are random speed sparks. Oh, and Stewie still takes a death there. Basically tying him up. Perfect sync with Makobra just about again. Oh, slick little hover lock there by Makobra to get through. So very different strats on this screen, but again, they are now... Makobra actually just slightly pulled ahead. Really neck and neck race here between the two on the right. Robert getting caught up on the spikes there, does take a death. Neither Stewie nor Makobra opting to grab an enemy on that screen for the speed boost. Oh, and this fight is so awkward with superpowers. It's just very difficult to place the bomb where you want it. Gotten so synced up for these two. Alright, Stewie does get an extra life there at the slots, but that little bit ended up putting Makobra in a slight lead instead of a slight deficit. One of the closest randomizer races I can recall seeing. Two of them have been back and forth this whole time. Hey Kaz, welcome in. Indeed, good luck to the runners. We're in race number 3 of 3 for the day. Makobra won the first one, Stewie won the second one. Makobra and Stewie are neck and neck here in this third one. Robert and Nico have been duking it out as well. They appear to not be terribly close at the moment, but I actually don't know who is in the lead out of Robert and Nico. I've lost track of what order the levels are in. I want to say Robert has a lead? Yeah, Robert does have a lead, because I remember him taking a death towards the end of 4-2, where Nico is now. And again, still just so synced between Makobra and Stewie. I think Stewie entered that previous level with like a 1 second deficit, and now has about a 1 second lead. Nearly every level, those two have had a change in who's in first. And it's never been a big gap between the two of them for this whole race. Nice little turn back from Stewie to avoid taking damage. Also a nice turn back from Makobra. Let's see. Okay, so Stewie is not going to go for the clip. Oh, takes damage there. Okay, getting the ninja out of there. So again, Makobra was a little behind and now is a little ahead. This probably will be enough for a full cycle difference. Although I guess the cycles aren't super clean when they don't enter the level at the same time. And bad RNG there from Makobra getting some fireballs. Missing a throw. Yeah, man, what a race. My eyes are glued on the right half at the moment. Apologies to Robert and Nico. So we got Toad in 1-3. Can't remember if speedrun friendly enemies are enabled here. Oh, and Makobra goes for that big jump. You can make that jump, but it is so scary. You know, the play typically is to just run off that platform and then jump off the log below. So that gives Stewie, if he gets this clip, a pretty sizable advantage. And it looks like he will get this clip if he can get over to the right, which he does. Now, where did Stewie get that enemy for the clip? Yeah, now Macobra going up for the key. That's gonna... This is gonna be the biggest difference we've had between these two runners for the whole race. Stewie onto Mauser. Gets that first hit. Second one's looking good. Third one should be good. That fourth one should be good. And that should be 5 for 5 there. Really clinical Mauser fights from Stewie today. He's been doing really well on them. All right, Robert also in 1-3. Oh, I lied. This is 1-1. I think 1-3 might be next for him. Okay, so Stewie's in 4-1 with the super character. Goes for the zombie rocket glitch. Saves a little bit of time there. It does drain you to 0 HP, so anything that would cause damage will kill you. But with the super... Oh, this is not the super character. This is Vanilla Toad. Oh, almost getting caught by the Sniffit there. That could have been Macobra's ticket to get back in close. Stewie still would have had a lead, but it would have been a more manageable deficit for Macobra to recover from. But at the moment here, Stewie with a fairly commanding lead for the first time in this race. Him and Macobra were back and forth the entire time. Right, so, okay, Stewie with a little bit of a hiccup here. He's gonna go for safe Luigi strats. Okay, so once that bird crosses the first tall pillar, you can just do a big full running jump and make it all the way to the cloud. So a little bit of unnecessary safety from Stewie there. But goes for the zombie rocket again with Luigi in 7-1. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this, to be honest. Oh, and that's a tough spot for a Sniffit. Yeah, I'm surprised Stewie didn't just do a super jump over the pillar. Opts to go through the cloud maze, but gets through. But that is a slower way. So Macobra, again, given a bit of an opportunity to make up some ground here. Macobra is just going to go for the jumps on the pillars. So, yeah, so far handling 7-1 much cleaner from the randomizer creator Macobra. See, Macobra's going to position himself. I think he's going to have to be a little further to the right to make it over. Yeah, you need to be hanging on to the very edge. That should be good. Yep, gets over. Okay, no need to go through the cloud maze there. Stewie now in, what is this, 2-3? With Super Mario. So. Oh, and immediately takes damage. Kind of an unfortunate start there. Oh, and gonna opt to go for a mushroom. Stewie's a high-level all mushrooms runner, knows where all of those power-ups are. Chooses to go for that rather than having to do a slower fight on Triclide. It also reduces your risk of taking a death, which also costs time, so I don't hate it. Don't love it, don't hate it. I'm okay with either decision there. I'm not even sure what I would go for in that situation. So Cobra, about half a screen behind. Mostly a full screen behind Stewie. But that lead has narrowed a bit. So this could be a nail biter if the trend continues. Stewie takes damage again, so down to regular 2 HP. Oh, and back down to 1 HP. So the extra HP he got ended up saving him a death there. Actually, had it not been for that mushroom, he would have taken a death at the end of the dig, which is one of the worst places you can take a death. And he is being super cautious here on this climb. He's got to shimmy his way out from under the key. But if Macobra just zooms up here, he could take a lead. But also opting to drop the key a couple times here. This is a little awkward, but they are nearly neck and neck at this point. About a 7-second lead for Stewie, I want to say. Oh, Macobra takes damage, so that was Macobra's chance to take a lead with a quick kill on Triclide with a damage boost. Okay, so no damage boost kill is available. You need an enemy that you can pick up for that, and with the Porcupo there, this is how you'd have to fight Triclide no matter what. Alright, so narrow lead for Stewie. I'm going to take this moment to shout out Big Chief Jahaley, some of the finest emotes on all of Twitch.tv. Alright, so Toad in 5-1 here. This can be a scary level. If you try to jump while the fish are moving upwards, you can sometimes get hitbox scammed and just take damage and fall through them. Oh, and Macobra slips into the pit. Had nearly evened it up. Oh, and Birdo with the moves, jumping right over the shell. What a troll. So again, Stewie with a fairly sizable lead here on the heels of that Macobra death. Macobra got through. Alright, also going for the shell. Curious to see if Birdo scams him. Alright, just goes for a pure shell kill there. Alright, Princess in 7-2, not a terrible choice. Makes a lot of the level quite a bit easier. I find the warp fight to be a little awkward with Princess, but you know, these are all 4 professionals. I don't think that's going to give anyone issues. Cobra and Stewie, both so far so good in 7-2. This is Stewie's race to win or lose at this point. It does take damage, though. Be interesting to see if that comes into play or not. Cobra with the first try chain jump. I think Stewie also had a first try jump. Let's see how many HP Ethan Hawke has. Just 1. Single HP Ethan Hawke, and Stewie is onto the warp fight. We have random veggie patterns enabled on this one, so they won't know for sure where the next one is coming. Stewie, again, going for behind wart strats here when the opportunity arises. So if Macobra can have a clean fight with jump buffers, he might be able to sneak in a W here. But Stewie already has 3 hits on wart, so it would probably take a miss or 2 from Stewie, and basically a perfect fight from Macobra. And a high HP wart as well. But Macobra is having a great fight. And this one's going to come down to the wire. Oh, and Stewie closes it out. What an entertaining race between those two, though. That was a real treat in my mind. Oh, Nico with a little duck under that sniff it. Narrowly avoids a death. What a race between you two. Nicely done, Stewie and Macobra. So Robert playing this super consciously, but slips into the abyss. Let's see if Robert can get this second try here. Yeah, Phanto's been a real troll in a lot of levels for a lot of people today, Stewie. Alright, Robert grabs a 1-up. Opts not to get the extra HP. Yeah, jumping off that fish. When that fish is at the top, you can actually just run off, and it ends up being quite a bit safer than jumping, because you can't get hitbox scammed if you just walk off. Nico now about a level behind Robert. We have seen that just about anything can happen in 7-2, though. So this one is not over for Nico. And again, jumping off that fish. I really would like people just to walk off of that. It scares me every time. Everyone's gotten lucky with it today, but you know that could be an unnecessary death at some point. You'd hate to see that in a close race. All right, Rohbert's moving along here. Some top tier 7-2 play. Nico now also in 7-2. A little bit of a bonk. Don't tell Alice. Oh, and takes damage. Moving through for Rohbert onto Ethan Hawke. We have seen that this is a 1 HP Ethan Hawke. So shouldn't have any issues here. Yep. Nicely done for Rohbert. And onto Wart. I think Rohbert opts for jump buffer strats with Princess. And with the random veggie patterns, that's really the way to go in my mind. Nicely timed. I'm not quite sure how he timed that since Wart wasn't on screen when he began his buffer. Hey, Stewie with the raid. Welcome in. Thank you very much. GG's on your 2 victories. We got Raceception happening on screen. Here, let me just... I'll just disable that for now. Let you see a pretty kaleidoscope of teals and purples. Yeah, those were really good races. A lot of close ones. You and Makover were back and forth pretty much all day today. And GG's. GG's Rohbert now as well. Nico closing in on Wart. Yeah, GG Rohbert. Nicely done. Makover is also offline, and Makover with the raid. Thank you very much. Oh no, that's Nico. Oh no. Oh no, that's the worst one to disable. There we go. Okay. All right. Thankfully, we didn't have to watch another ad from Nico's side. I clicked the wrong source. But yeah, GG's Makover. Really well played today. Oh, Nico with the death. The Dutch Destroyer having some issues here. Closing out race number 3. Alright, taking some intentional damage. Maybe not the wisest for someone who just ate a bubble moments earlier. But I like his moxie. Yeah, you bet, Rohbert. Thanks for participating. I'm glad we're getting back into the swing of things with these. I know everyone was a bit worn out after the tournament and whatnot, so I think a break was probably necessary. But 2U is back, baby. Alright, Nico having some trouble with these randomized veggie patterns. I personally like standing on ground level. I think it's just a little easier to be able to snag the veggies. Get another hit in on Wart. And that looks like it's going to do it for Nico. GG's. That was a really entertaining race. Oh, no worries. I mean, it doesn't really matter what seed number it is that people end up playing, as long as they're all playing the same one. But GG's, everyone. Had a lot of fun hosting. Looking forward to doing this again next week. These are open to everyone. Hop into my Discord if this is something you feel like you'd be interested in joining.